Hey, what's up, my people? How you doing? It's super early in the morning, so I try to keep it down. Um, had a hard time sleeping, so I decided to answer some questions that has been asked to me. Okay, I got my coffee, and we're gonna do this. First thing is we're gonna talk about two main subjects. Okay, the first one is the potential of another stimulus check. Okay. A lot of people have been asking me about that. Do I think there's going to be another stimulus check? And the second is going to be about uh, possible money going to non-profit organizations. Okay. So, and both are important. So, first of all, let me say what's up to all my people. How you doing? My name is Miss Dalton, and this is my channel. That's Dalton. Now, I want to say thank you to all my existing subscribers, my faithful 100 that's been with me for so long, as well as my new subscribers. I thank y'all, and I love y'all, and thank you for your thumbs up on some of my videos that you enjoy. Now, first of all, let's talk about possible future stimulus. Okay? Possible future stimulus. If there was because a lot of people going around doing a lot of clickbait saying that there's stimulus. Okay, uh, no, there's not a forced stimulus. Okay, the Democrats did have a chance of giving us a forced stimulus and didn't. Period. Okay, uh, there's still, as I always repeat myself, there's still old stimulus money from the other packages that's still around. Okay, but there is not a brand new stimulus. And I don't believe there's going to be a brand new stimulus for a couple of reasons, not just one. Okay. And if you have not heard that what they're doing, a lot of this is going on because the when the Title 42 ended and we have an influx of immigrants, there's something major going on here. Okay. That two people, and I'll go deeper into that, two main categories are going to have to carry the bulk of Biden and the Democrats' major mistake. All right. And that's not preparing and having everything ready for the end of Title 42 and the influx. And you have to understand this influx of immigrants is going to be keep going on for another year and a half. And it will go on beyond that unless we unless they vote in like um, a Republican president. Okay. Otherwise, uh, the next Democratic president is going, unless they have a different point of view, they're going to have to carry the ball or what and deal with the mistake that Biden has made and is making. Okay, and so this influx of immigrants from other countries is going to go on for another year and a half. Okay, it's just started, and the people that's going to pay for it are the American taxpayers, right? And non-profit organizations. Now, the reason that we really will not get another stimulus is because they have to. It's an old saying. They have to take from Peter to pay Paul. Okay, they're taking from essential government agencies that has been set up to help Americans in like cases of emergencies. They're taking money away from that, okay, to deal with this immigrant problem. And I'm not blaming immigrants, okay? I'm not blaming anybody. I'm just telling you how it is. So they had a lot of money left over. At one point, they had almost 80, I think almost 80 like $1 billion sitting there left over, and 80 million or 80 billion, I believe it was billion, left over, and they could had no 800 million. That's right, $800 million left over just sitting there. Okay, in one fund that was never used. That could have went to stimulus package. That could have went to stimulus checks for American people, and they never used it. They never did it. And since the Republicans brought this up, so when they did um, uh, debt ceiling deal, the Republicans actually in the deal forced Biden to take that money that wasn't being used and just sitting there, that was not being used for and just sitting there, and take a percentage of different agencies and send it back into the government so it can be used for the American people. Okay, it was just sitting there. Okay, and they had 2 years to give you a stimulus check, and they didn't. Okay, so right now it definitely don't look like it's any way, shape, or form that they can give you a stimulus check, because they're stealing from Peter to pay Paul because of this Democratic president's mess. He opened up a can of worms and he cannot put the lid on. Okay, and it's gonna got to realize that this is going to go on for another year and a half. Okay, they're gonna be flooding in here for another year and a half almost. Now, also the second thing that's taken away from money from states and from governments is all the gun violence. All the gun violence is happening out there is taking money away from state and government as well. So if you understand that all this is taking money that could have been given to the American people, it's no way they can do it now, because they got a mess, and they got a whole dam has opened up, and all they have is two mops to try to clean it up with, and it's going to stay open for another year and a half. Now, the second thing, so that's why, because that's why you won't see a stimulus check, because they already took, believe it or not, I think it was $100 million away from FEMA, FEMA. And the reason they did that, they took, when FEMA is to help us in cases of national emergencies and other things such as that happen in your state or your city in the USA. And they took $100 million, over $100 million away from that fund that we had in that, just to give to some nonprofits, because a lot of these nonprofits, they have institutions that can handle 100 and 200 people, and they got 800 because of this immigrant problem. They got like 800 people in there, and what, three porta potties. Okay, and the weird part about it is they're not getting any type of violations from the government for overcrowding. But you, as a business, you're going to get a violation if you got 20 people over the max. Okay. Now, the other thing I want to touch on is, and that I mean that's why there's not going to be enough stimulus, okay, because of that drain. Now, also, we got two things in America you got to remember. It's really going to get bad this summer because some places going to be 110 degrees with places that can only hold 100 to 200 people that's going to have 800 people in it because of this immigrant situation and the end of Title 42. Okay, so when summer hits, as well as when the winter hits, that's when you're really going to see it. And then at the end of when winter hits at the end of this year, we might end up having a recession. So it's even going to be worse. Okay, now dealing with nonprofits, what I predict is going to happen is they're gonna have no other choice because as I stated, it's going to fall on the American people, taxpayers, to pay for all this stuff, this gun violence, this mess that the Democrats has dealing with the end of Title 42. Okay, uh, it's going to fall on the taxpayers, American taxpayers, and it's going to fall on nonprofits. So I do predict that they're going to start maybe having grants or PPP loans to these nonprofit organizations because they're overwhelmed and they have no other choice. Okay, now beware. Both sides do this all the time, but beware. You're going to hear more and more about what about the families, dealing with the immigrants coming in America. What about the families? What about the children? Politicians love to do that. They love to take, show you videos and point to show you the children and the babies and stuff like that. They love doing that to take your mind away from the fact that we're about to be. You think we're hurting now? We're really, really, really going to be hurting in the future. Okay, and if we got a recession at the end of this year, they have really no other choice. A preemptive strike would be to give money to all these nonprofit organizations, churches, small, medium, and large nonprofit organizations, because they're already feeling the strain, and it's just going to get worse, and it's going to last for another year and a half. So, just letting you know. Uh, that's my prediction, and I do think that they're going to do something for the nonprofit organizations and the churches and stuff like that, so they can help handle the strain of not only Americans needing help, but um, also